this video, maybe some people that already know a little bit about me, maybe some new people. But part of my suite of offerings is something called Haven, which is a monthly membership group. It's done through a private app, and I go live each week with healings and channeled, meditations that deliver the healing and card readings, and we talk about different tools and tips, and all really laddering up to this idea of, how can we open up to our hearts and really allow our soulfulness to help fuel our humanness, to make the human experience, more enjoyable. And also recognizing that there are so many things that make being human really hard and challenging, and also knowing that as we kind of reach radical acceptance with that truth of the human journey, really not then depriving ourselves of the beauty that can also exist. And so it's really that duality that we explore in the group, that we kind of hold space for. And what I love about what comes through is there's, these amazing, high reaching, high vibrational healings that really reach the soul at a very deep level, that helps us expand into higher levels of consciousness, that allows us to tap into loads of divine inspiration and support for our journey. And then also really helps with very practical, on the ground, like feet on the ground support and tools and tips and tricks. And so the range of support that this type of group provides is just incredible. And it's all done through a recording that you can watch and do on your own time. So I have really enjoyed it. People are really, really enjoying it. And so what I thought I would do today is kind of give you a taste of what that group might feel like by doing something similar here and letting you experience that. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, or you can DM me. My website is www.kayleedecker.com if you want to learn more about me. And yeah, I think that's it. So if you want more info after this, just try to find a way to reach out to me through this YouTube channel. I'm also on Instagram at Kaylee.Decker, so at KALEY.DECKER. And then obviously there's contact forms and lots of fun stuff on my website. So without further ado, let's get this party started. And yeah, so this is more of like a sampling, right? And so a lot of times what I do is I don't really plan a lot. I don't really try to like overthink it, because that then kind of blocks the flow of what really wants to come through, what really wants to serve the highest good of the group, but really do call in that which will serve the highest good of the group. And so that's really what I spend my time doing, is tuning into the energy of the group that's coming together for a specific experience, and being able to then deliver to them exactly what they need. And each experience holds kind of Easter eggs that's going to land in different people in special ways. And so Spirit also gives me a range of metaphors, of visualizations, of phrasings that will help support different people based on where they are at in their own journey. Okay, so what I want to start with first and foremost is just really allowing ourselves to connect in to our body through our breath. It's like it's Monday, right? Like we made it to another week. Thank you so much, Spirit, for giving us this space and this time to be here together and to really get the week started in a place that feels maybe a little bit more grounded, a little bit more sure-footed. Even if there's some uncertainty or anything happening in the periphery that's creating any sense of worry or distraction or fear, really allowing ourselves the opportunity, giving ourselves permission to still connect in, to not withhold or deny our human from being able to cultivate a feeling of peace, of love, to really kind of help us have a starting point that feels strong and solid as almost like a springboard for the week, right? So really allowing ourselves to start the week right. And so I want you to just allow yourself, as we commit to this intention of starting the week right, really allowing ourselves to suspend any mental thinking, any mental patterning, and any mental projecting. Even if we're trying to project our to-do list onto this experience, and really allowing ourselves to kind of let all of that float away. So the moment that we come into connection with ourselves in this way, the moment that we turn our gaze within and create the space to feed and fuel our soul in this manner, we're kind of creating that beautiful handshake where we're saying, okay, mind, it is okay for you to take a little bit of a back seat, or a big bit of a back seat, and we're going to allow the heart to have a moment to really, I'm almost getting the idea that like the heart's getting some screen time now, like within us, right? So we're really tuning into the heart space and really allowing ourselves to feed her or him, and to really allow that intention and attention to create a sense of, it's all okay, it's all gonna be okay. And even if things are chaotic, even if there is noise on the outside world, that the more skilled we become at connecting into that peaceful place within, the more that we're truly able to enjoy the moments that we have in this experience of being human, right? And so I want you to just allow yourself to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I want you to imagine that you are making that commitment to kind of suspend all mind thinking, all to-do thinking, and to really tune into the world within, the heart space. And as we're doing that, I want you to imagine that you can literally feel yourself moving your awareness from your head into your heart. I'm just seeing this beautiful offering from Spirit where there's just light coming down. It's almost like the sun is just shining down on each of us as we go through this process. And the theme that's coming in right now is really this idea of so that we can take flight, right? So it's almost this idea of like a rest for success. So instead of starting our week off like, full tilt boogie, like, just with all these expectations of being able to be really productive, that, wow, maybe it's really about creating some space for us to be able to connect inward, to kind of recalibrate our system and orient ourselves to the week and what this week is going to require at an energetic level too, right? So it's really cool. It's almost like Spirit's giving me this metaphor of taking flight and kind of the flight path for this week. And so what's really neat about that is that as you remain in the space of breathing in and out, I want you to allow yourself to imagine that you're almost visualizing the path that you are going to take this week. So it's almost like really envisioning, visualizing, calling in a week that, of course, we're human, so it's not going to be without hiccups. It's going to maybe have a little bit of detour and turbulence, right? But that we can envision that not only is the path going to flow as smoothly as possible, but that we are also going to be able to handle any of that turbulence that comes our way, because we know that we have this beautiful strength within that can be tapped into. And as we turn into that more, we become more and more privy to it. And so this is really for anybody new to this sort of thing. You know, this is kind of an opening for anybody who's very adept at turning inward and kind of cultivating this inner peace and inner strength that kind of can withstand the test of time, you know, the time construct that kind of comes in with being human, and the challenges that can kind of pour in through that. Like, there's this full range of experience here that this can capture, and that you're not going to necessarily be perfect at it, but that it's really about returning again and again to yourself in those moments, especially those moments where we feel so human. And kind of going back to how I started this video, is saying, you know, allowing ourselves to not shame ourselves for not doing anything sooner, or for falling off the bandwagon, for not procrastinating. You know, we don't want to procrastinate because of those reasons. You know, it's just like, all right, let's just say, okay, well, it's just time to begin again, right? And so we're going to begin again with this week. So I just want you to breathe in this idea of really flowing with this beautiful congruent flight path. So we're breathing in beautiful peace and love and joy, all of the feelings that we want to feel that will help us navigate this flight of this week, this flight of our life, right? The best we possibly can. So breathing in feelings of peace and joy and ease and inspiration, just really tuning into whatever you specifically desire to feel good in this week. And even if you aren't feeling good right now, you know, I've been getting over a cold, or we might have some, you know, major anxiety that's kind of looming over us, or worry or fear. And so really allowing us to then say, okay, with loving awareness, see that, and then offer that, some of this peace and love. Really allowing those feeling tones to soften any resistance or any kind of heavier, quote unquote, negative, you know, feelings that might be arising as we think about the week, right? And so if we have any limiting beliefs that are popping up, like, you know, nothing ever goes my way, or I can't have, you know, a great flight this week because things just don't go my way, right? So that might be a thought that we think, you know, and our body might feel like it really believes that, but your heart knows that that's not true. So we can just really offer that thought or a feeling, that love. And even if you feel like you're not in a place where you can, I'm calling in support. I'm moving that energy so that we can soften and open those heavier thoughts, feelings, limiting beliefs. And it's so cool. So what Spirit's showing me now is, as we allow ourselves to turn into those thoughts, as we shine the light on them, as we offer them love and support, Spirit kind of can put them on a flight back to the light, and Spirit kind of transmutes that into beautiful healing energy. So that negative thought is just, it's not who you are, it's separate from you. Those thoughts, those feelings are not you. They're separate from you. And so I want you to just allow yourself to perhaps go through this process now of almost cleaning up the clutter So we're kind of cleaning up. It's so cool. Okay, so this flight thing, I'm kind of rolling through this. So they're showing me this visual of like a huge plane, right? Or maybe a small plane for you. It can be whatever plane it is. And so just imagine that there was a flight that just happened and like there was mess on the plane, right? And so right now what we're doing is we're kind of cleaning up any of the messes within that are blocking us from being able to have a really clean, clear, successful flight, right? Like to be able to really navigate that next flight. So I want you to just allow yourself to breathe in that love, that peace, that joy, that ease, those feelings that maybe even you feel like you have just dreamt of feeling, but that you just haven't felt in a while. Or maybe you have and you just want to kind of call more of that in. So just breathing all of that in, and on the out breath, I want you to imagine that you're just letting anything and everything that's not congruent with peace, with love, with joy, with ease out. So breathe it all out. And as you breathe it all out, that's just allowing for this process of cleansing, this process of purifying the air in the plane, really your human vessel being the plane, right? So working with this metaphor of the plane, we're really utilizing our breath and kind of this energetic support that Spirit is supplying me with, this idea of cleansing and cleaning up the mess so that we can really start the week fresh, okay? So just imagine anything that might have happened over the weekend that wasn't really to expectation, or that might have felt disappointing, or maybe you didn't get as much done last week as you wished you would have, and so you've got a lot to do this week. And so this is really allowing us, at whatever level we each individually need, to kind of clear up some space so that we can tackle this week in the best way possible, right? So we can be as efficient and productive as possible. And in fact, as we tune in to our energy and tend to it in this way, that we can actually make this week more flowy, for lack of a better word, you know? So we're really wanting to kind of ride these waves. So it's almost like this flight is taking us to this beautiful ocean where we're riding these waves and things are just really flowing. And then if we've got like a big wave that we need to get over, we know we can tackle it. And so it's really aligning with this energy that we can handle anything that's thrown our way, because we are so connected within. We are so connected to this idea of peace and joy and love and ease, that we are deserving to experience peace and love and joy and ease on the outside. And so it's really all about this kind of vibrational match to who we truly are at the soul level, and really allowing our human to feel that by connecting into it with our consciousness, right? So being able to consciously connect into our soul and what it knows to be true, and then bringing that through our heart and utilizing our human, ability to breathe, to be able to do some energetic cleansing, right? And then I want you to imagine that, so as you breathe in all of those good feelings that you want to feel, and you're breathing out anything and everything that is not in alignment with that. You're breathing in being, in alignment with your highest and best path. And then breathing out anything and everything that is not serving that purpose. Just letting it all go. Letting anything that's ready to be released to just be let go. And then just imagine again that you're sitting in on these kind of like, I almost see like smaller little jets, little jet planes that were kind of, offloading these kind of old stuck things, this old energy, this latent energy that's just not serving us, that's it's been keeping us stuck. It's been keeping us really from being able to move forward on projects and ideas that we're having, like kind of stuck in the weeds a bit. And so we're really just allowing Spirit to help us clear out anything and everything that's not serving our highest good. So I want you to imagine this again, like these little jets are just kind of taking all of that away. And then as spaciousness is created by that release, then we're able to bring in beautiful, purified air that is filled with love and support and your wholeness. There's a remembrance of your wholeness and your beautiful light as connected to source and all that is, that kind of starts coming back online. It's not that it was gone away from you, it was just kind of hidden. And so as we create space through the process of releasing what doesn't serve us, we're able to then feel and see the connection to the truth of who we are, and that is that we are whole, we are good, and we're really meant for more. We're not meant for suffering. That at the heart level, at the soul level, we really are meant to live in more harmony with our human. And so by us each individually choosing to tend to ourselves in this way, we then become kind of these models for how it can change and be done. And so what I want you to imagine is that really when we think about the flight of our life, how we want our life to take flight, and reaching those higher levels of thinking and feeling, higher levels, transcendent levels of thought. So it's almost like this other piece of this now that's coming through is that as we do this, Spirit is actually helping us kind of up level to a higher vibrational frequency that brings us into connection with an expanded consciousness, an expanded level of consciousness. And from up here, we're able to look down and see everything with a higher perspective. Right? We don't see things as limited as maybe the mind was seeing things. So I want you to imagine now that, if you're feeling lighter and you don't feel like you have a lot of resistance to still work through at this time, that you can kind of go into this next phase. If you do feel like you have a lot of resistance, or if this is becoming really hard, that might be just a sign that you need some additional support to kind of work through that barrier, or perhaps you can just spend some more time calling in that energy of love and support and peace until you're able to breathe out the feelings of love and peace and joy. So then you're kind of becoming one, you're becoming congruent with all of those feelings that you're wanting to call in. You can also breathe them out. So you've really kind of harmonized yourself there. And that's really the goal. If you're new to this, it might take some time, right? And so that's also saying, wow, this feels a little hard for me. Like the mind doesn't want to stop. My fearful thoughts, my limiting beliefs, they're feeling so loud right now. And so really allowing yourself then to say, okay, that's telling me something, and then kind of coming into the heart and saying, okay, well, what can I do about that right now? What action can I take that will be supportive in, me being able to change that, to transform that, so that I can feel more in flow, feel more congruent to my true self. And so with that, what Spirit is kind of showing me as more of like a practical, well, I guess not all practical, but just something that we can maybe move into then is to say, okay, imagine now that these thoughts, or maybe a challenge or something that you're kind of worried about this week happening, is below you, and that now you're in this beautiful plane that's clean, or as clean as possible. You're able to look down and you can see the challenge, the opportunity, the situation just with that higher level perspective, right? That 30,000 foot view. See if you can see it differently, if it gives you clarity, if you can maybe see it from a new angle, and it allows you to be able to kind of move through it and understand it in a different way that helps you. So just really spend some time in your heart here to be with that process. And I would just recommend for this first time really just focusing on one thing. So it might be that you've got, a big presentation or a big opportunity, or maybe you're having writer's block, or maybe there's some major conflict happening within a friend group or a spouse or a partner. And so just really allowing yourself to bring that beneath the plane, and then being able to see you in that plane, looking down from that higher perspective, and just see if you're able to glean new insight, a new perspective, a new way of looking at it, a new way of seeing it. I want you to take a breath in and out. I want you to imagine too that maybe you can kind of send love down to it, and that as you do that, Spirit's also helping to just wrap it in beautiful golden light. I'm almost seeing it just being really held and wrapped. And maybe it's something that can't be solved right now, but just really holding space for it, and knowing that maybe there isn't something that you can do right now to save it or to help it. You're just sending it love. And so there's this kind of next nuance here where there's some things that we're worried about, that we're wanting to help or fix or control, that we just can't, right? Like we can't, and our worry is actually not serving anybody, including ourselves. That's just creating more of that kind of like tension and frenetic energy that's blocking our flow, that's blocking our ability to really move from a place of connection to our heart. And so what we want to do is really allow ourselves, if it's something that we truly can't control, that we can't do anything productive about right now, that we just allow it to be held in this beautiful cocoon of golden light. And we ask, the angels, we ask God, we ask, whatever you believe in, to just hold space for it and to kind of tend to it. And if and when there's something that you can do to help the situation, to let you know. But otherwise, we're just letting that go with love. Just imagine that it kind of goes back to whoever it belongs to or wherever it belongs to, and really knowing that then that becomes a clarity piece for you, where it really is you gaining energy and attention back, so that you can turn the view back on you and be able to service your human, so that you can be more congruent with your higher self, with your mission, with your soulfulness. And that way then you're bringing that through to everything you do, right? To all the lives that you touch. And that, what Spirit is saying, is really the magic, the ability to weave our soulfulness through our human in such a way that we're able to bring pure love and consciousness through our body vessel and be able to make an impact at that deeper level. So I want you to we covered a lot of ground today, a lot of sky, a lot of ground, but I loved what came through. And so I want you to just spend time in this, and as you move through this, because this was a huge energetic transmission, I want you to spend time, hydrating, making sure that you're grounding into the earth, making sure that you're breathing in, breathing out, and allowing yourself to work with this energy and see what it inspires in you, what it shifts, and letting me know if there's anything that I can do to help. All right, I'm sending everyone so much love. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next week.